Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Wonderful
Pranam.
assembled
Hare
here.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Okay, Rup Raghunath Prabhu, whenever you're ready, I'll do the Mangla Charan and then we can start.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Saguna Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahaguna Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरंगे राधे वृंदवनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनाम पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namah Vishvadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravane Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunavadi Paschachadeshatarane.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So today's agenda, we have the group presentations on the Bhagavad Gita introduction, and then we will get into a Q&A if devotees have any questions. And then it will be your presentation on chapter 1. So without further ado, I would like to invite Vasudeva group to please start their presentation. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So I'll just introduce the characters and then also then the presenters will start. So our topic today is I'm from India. I already know the Bhagavad Gita. So the context is importance of systematic and guided study of the Gita. There are 7 characters. Satyahit Prabhu is the narrator. And then there is Nitin Prabhu, who will act as a confident Indian person who already knows the Gita. Akila Mataji, who is in the temple setting there, she is a devotee friend, introduces him to Bhakti Shastri course. And then there is WhatsApp Guru or Google Baba acting as if he knows with the half knowledge. And then she is Rasa Chitta Mataji. And then there is Arjuna character played by Vandana Mataji. Nandu Sharma Prabhu as teacher. Inner mind is Dinanath Das, Rohan's inner mind. So yes, now we'll start, Prabhu.
In every generation, Krishna gives knowledge, but in every generation, someone always says,
Krishna, we can't hear. Subudhi Prabhu, can you?
Okay. I already know it.
Today we meet Rohan, born in India, raised with festivals, Mahabharat serials, and WhatsApp Gita quotes. Therefore, according to him,
I'm practically a Gita scholar. Akhila Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Rohan. We are
Krishna.
okay. Sorry. So I was
Sorry, no, I lost my internet. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think Mataji has internet problems. Someone. Rasachita Mataji, can you cover for her?
and we are starting a systematic Bhagavad Gita study group. You should join.
Meera, I'm from India.
Yes?
I already know the Bhagavad Gita.
Hare
Really?
Krishna. Okay.
Mataji, can you read now?
Mataji, I'm not able to see the
Okay, I will get
script.
in matter of time.
Okay.
Yeah. Really wonderful. Can you please share what the main message is?
Simple, just do your karma, don't worry about the result. Everyone is God, God has a duty to us. And whenever confused, say Krishna is great.
Awesome. Gita is much more than that. Also, can I humbly say from my systematic reading of the Gita that some of what you mentioned are misconceptions?
Anyway, I'm Indian, Gita is in my blood.
Rohan, have you read the Gita from beginning to end with a commentary?
Not exactly, but I have heard many verses in lectures, reels, and family discussions.
Rohan, systematic study helps us apply the Gita, not just hear and forget it.
Apply? I apply it daily.
How?
When my mom asks me to do chores, I tell her, Mummy, I am not this body.
This is actually one of the main message from Gita. Kindly contemplate on this and you will be able to deal with life's battles well.
that night Rohan had a dream, or perhaps Krishna gave him a small lesson.
Where am I?
On the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
Arjuna? The Arjuna.
Yes.
Big fan. I watched the serial.
Did you understand my crisis?
Yes, you were nervous before the war.
Yes, my mind was overwhelmed. Even with all the knowledge and closeness to Krishna, I admitted, please instruct me.
But you already knew Dharma?
Well, knowing Dharma is one thing, but that's not enough. What to do in a crisis is another.
So, Rohan's inner mind is speaking. Exactly. When life is smooth, everyone is a philosopher. And then Arjuna speaks.
I gave many good arguments like compassion, family tradition, and more. But without Krishna's guidance, I was still confused.
So, what changed?
I stopped acting as Krishna's casual friend and accepted him as Guru.
That's why Gita 4.34 teaches that we should learn the truth by approaching spiritual master, inquiring from him submissively, and render service unto him. Gita 4.2 explains that this knowledge is received through disciplic succession.
Srila Prabhupada presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, through disciplic succession. It has to be heard in disciplic succession, otherwise there is room for misinterpretation.
So, being Indian is not the qualification?
There is no mention of Hindu or Indian in Gita. Gita is universal.
I understand now. I was proud that I am from India. Arjuna did not say, Krishna, I already know. He said, please instruct me.
That humility made him qualified.
I knew Gita as culture, and quotes, but I never studied it properly under the guidance. So from today, I will not say I already know the Bhagavad Gita. Then Rohan, inner mind, says, yes, you are making progress. And then Rohan, who is in front, he will say, I will say, I have been blessed to hear about the Gita. Now I want to understand it properly.
Great. Krishna becomes your guide.
WhatsApp Guru or Google Baba. Can I also join? I am tired of forwarding messages and giving half answers.
Everyone can join, but phones on silent.
Then Rohan's inner mind says, what about me? Can I also join?
You especially need to attend.
And so Rohan learned, India may give us access to the Gita, but systematic study gives us entrance into the Gita. Haribol.
Haribol.
So here is the final message. We are not here to prove that we know the Gita. We are here to let the Gita know us, change us, and bring us closer to Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Haribol. Very good, very good. I like the way that you used all the flavors. So you used a little bit of humor, a little bit of reflection, introspection, and also spiritual facts. But very nice mix in the skit. Thank you very much. Well done.
Sankarshan group.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. So today's our topic is I do not believe in organized religion, and today's skit is presenting by Nikita Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, and Pritika Mataji. So yeah, please Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. There are three ladies in the scene. Nikita, who believes in spirituality but dislikes organized religion. She values freedom and personal opinions. Pritika doesn't fully believe in God but believes in yoga, meditation, mindfulness, and being a good person. She is skeptical of institutions and rituals. Priyanka, she is calm bhakti yoga practitioner from ISKCON. She is thoughtful, understanding, and not preachy. So let's start. I actually don't believe in organized religion. Faith should be personal. Why do I need institutions, rules, or someone telling me how to be spiritual?
Exactly. And honestly, a lot of religious people don't even seem peaceful.
Right. That's what confuses me. What good has organized religion even done? Wars, manipulation, judgment, forcing beliefs on others. I just want to follow my heart and my own mind.
And organized religion feels very controlling sometimes, like people stop thinking for themselves. See, I definitely feel there's something higher. So during yoga or meditation, sometimes I feel peace. But the moment spirituality becomes organized, it starts feeling very restrictive.
Honestly, I agree with both of you more than you think. There are people who misuse religion, and blind ritual without transformation can become empty, right? So, but at the same time, the mind that we trust so much is also the same mind which is not stable because it has so many moods. And if we just follow that mind, it's almost like asking a confused person to guide us to the destination. In Bhagavad Gita, Shloka 6.5 says, Krishna mentions that the mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
Look, I don't even know if I believe in God. I believe in being a good human being and the higher energy that yoga and meditation brings to me.
Right. And still, why do I need organized religion?
Yeah, and the rituals feel so mechanical.
Think about any skill in life. If someone says, I want to learn music, but I don't need a teacher, discipline, or practice, do you think that would work? Similarly, spiritual life is also to learn about God. And organized spiritual practice can give guidance, accountability, and a path that's been preserved and practiced for thousands of years. Without structure, everyone can create their own truth, and it becomes very easy to lose direction.
But I still want freedom, no rules.
If you see, one can actually feel freedom when one excels in the field of one subject, right? Similarly, a person becomes free when the heart becomes purified. When I first came around Bhakti Yoga, I also resist on this structure. I thought, why can't I practice them all by myself? But then I realized that guidance is very important in every area of our life. But somehow, for spirituality, which is the deepest subject of all, modern culture just says that just follow your feelings.
Well, if religion is supposed to transform people, then why are some religious people the most intolerant?
That's a very fair question. We do have to be careful about corrupted spiritual institution. I mean, a hospital can become corrupt, but that does not mean the medicine is fake.
Okay, but why guru and disciplic succession is specifically important? Why can't I just read Bhagavad Gita myself?
Of course, you can read it yourself, but interpretation also matters. If you wish to read advanced physics, you'd need a teacher, right? Otherwise, you could easily misunderstand things. That's why disciplic succession also exists in understanding the Bhagavad Gita, not to control knowledge, but to preserve it. Our Srila Prabhupada has never claimed that I invented a new truth. He simply presented Bhagavad Gita as it is. Krishna also suggests in Bhagavad Gita 4.34 to try learning the truth, approaching spiritual master. And that actually makes sense. And if we need a teacher to learn tangible physics, what to speak about intangible knowledge? And interestingly, Bhagavad Gita itself begins with confusion, doubt, and emotional breakdowns. Arjuna literally tells Krishna, I'm confused and I don't know what's right. That's how the Gita starts, right? And Krishna says something so beautiful, Janma karma cha me divyam. Whoever understands his divine nature and truth becomes liberated. Notice Krishna says, understands, not blindly follow, but just understands. That's why I feel systematic study is very important.
That actually sounds beautiful than I ever imagined. Maybe I do need more than just my inner instinct.
Yeah, and maybe yoga is just more than stretching and mindfulness. I think there's more possibilities.
Yeah, and maybe all three of us are on the same journey, but just at different steps. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, very nice, very balanced. I like the fact that that you do not shy away from asking difficult questions and also address them in a very balanced way. So thank you for taking the time to analyze it nicely and present it. Very good.
Group 3, Pradyumna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So for our group, we have 3 friends who are having a conversation, and they happen to be friends in real life. So Shaili Mataji, Bhuma Mataji, and Shamala Mataji will be presenting. And Shaili Mataji is, introduced and favorable and inclined to Bhakti, and she's trying to start a book club, a reading club. And our topic is I'm not a Hindu. The Bhagavad Gita is for everyone. So she wants to read the Bhagavad Gita. So go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. This is Shailia. Bhuma and Sharmi, our teammates. You both are here? Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Amla.
So we're going to start. Hare Krishna. How are you both? Would you like to read this book with me in our next book club? It's called the Bhagavad Gita. As it is, it's a wonderful conversation that can provide answers to many of life's questions.
Bhagavad Gita?
Oh, you mean that religious book for Hindus? Yes, my parents have wanted me to read it for a long time.
I'm not a Hindu. I'm not sure how I would gain from reading this book.
I can see how you might feel this is for Hindus, as most Hindus read them. Interesting fact though, there is no word Hindu in the Vedic scriptures. In fact, the word Hindu was coined by the Persians to address those who lived beyond the Sindhu, the Indus River. Anyways, the Bhagavad Gita is a non-secular book. It elaborates upon Sanatan Dharma, which has always existed, and it is a book of timeless teachings and universal wisdom.
Do you mean it applies to everyone?
The Bhagavad Gita contains universal truth for all humanity. The Gita speaks to the heart beyond religion, race, nationality, or culture.
I heard you say something very interesting. What is that Sanatana Dharma?
I've not heard of it before. Can you please elaborate on that?
Sure. Sanatan means eternal, and dharma means essential, innate, and an integral characteristic. Sharmi?
Wow, this sounds deep. My head is spinning.
I know. It's different from what we've been taught. Hindu, Muslim, Christianity, these are faiths that we may follow in this world, and people can change from one to the other. But dharma is a characteristic which is eternally an integral part of every being. For example, the dharma of fire is to emit light and heat, without which one cannot call it fire. Similarly, the dharma of sugar is to be sweet.
So let me ask you this. What is my dharma?
Our dharma is to serve others like a mother serves a child. The pinnacle of this path is a soul serving its creator or the God. We call him Krishna, the all-attractive one. So the Bhagavad Gita is essentially a book on dharma, which teaches us how to lovingly serve the all-loving God and be happy.
So if I read Bhagavad Gita, would I be able to love my Lord and serve him better?
Yes, you got it. People from different cultures have read this book. One of the many famous examples is Nelson Mandela. He even had many Sanskrit verses memorized. It helped him survive the brutality of the apartheid and become a great leader. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us to see the divine in everyone.
This sounds very interesting. I would like to know more about it. Can you please give me a copy of the book?
Me too. Please give me a copy as well.
Haribol, here we go. A copy for both of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very 2 books gone, right? Thank you very much. Once again, I like the way that you all build the argument in a very systematic way. And I also like that you don't shy away from having difficult questions posed and taking care of them. So nice mixture of logic and a little bit of humor, and I like the energy of everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And they were within the time, so that's an accomplishment as well.
There you go, Prabhuji. We were way within time. Yes.
Okay, over to the next group.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We are from the Aniruddha group, and our topic is when people say that I have read other versions of the Bhagavad Gita. And the theme or the ideology that we want to demonstrate in our skit is the unique position of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. So to set the scene, this is basically a bookstall that I, as one of the temple visitors, will be visiting, and Suparna Mataji will be one of the devotees at the stall.
Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah. Hi. I see you have a bookstall put up and see a lot of books.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Do you have Bhagavad Gita? Would you like to have one?
I already have a copy at home. I've read it too.
Oh, really? Do you happen to know the author? How did you feel after reading it? Were you able to practice the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in your real life?
Honestly, I didn't quite understand the essence that the author was trying to convey in the book. And did you say, did I try to practice? No, I basically felt that it was a philosophical book where I can just read through, but I didn't really see something that I can have a takeaway kind of.
I thought so. That would happen when you read Bhagavad Gita from other commentaries, but this wouldn't have happened if you read the Bhagavad Gita translated by Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, that's interesting. What is different about this version of Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada?
Yeah, good you asked this question. Srila Prabhupada books are so unique because they present the teachings of Lord Krishna exactly as they are, without any distortion or speculation or personal interpretation. Unlike many modern commentaries, his writings come from the uh, authentic Gaudiya Vaishnava disciplic lineage. This preserves the spiritual knowledge in its original form. By reading these books, readers get the confidence in both the authenticity and the depth of the teachings.
So inspiring to hear. But I never thought that the author of a book really mattered. The content is the same, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what most people would, think, and they usually ignore this main question: who is the author? What qualification does the author have to present a spiritual book like Lord Bhagavad Gita, especially Lord Krishna's teachings? The author has to be pure internally and externally, practicing devotional service under a bona fide guru. And special quality of Srila Prabhupada books is that the purity behind his writing. He wrote this book not for fame, profit, or recognition, but purely as a service to God and humanity. Because the books are written from a state of pure goodness, they carry a spiritual potency that deeply touches the readers, not only intellectually but emotionally and spiritually as well.
I can now understand why I didn't develop or understand any devotion when I read the other versions. It's so inspiring to hear all of this.
You got it now. Especially in today's age of confusion, stress, and distraction, his books provide clarity, peace, and personal guidance for life. They help readers understand the purpose of human life, self realization, devotion, and liberation from material suffering. Many people feel transformed even after reading for a short time this Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada because the message of Lord Krishna remained unchanged and powerful. Especially with this Bhagavad Gita that Srila Prabhupada has translated, it explains the Krishna's message exactly as it was originally spoken. This happened only because of a bona fide spiritual lineage. The faithful representation is why readers experience the true effect and wisdom of this Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada books are not just literature, they are a source of spiritual awakening and lasting inspiration.
It's so nice. I'm so grateful that you spent some time to explain this to me, Mataji. Thank you so much. Can I please have a copy of Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada?
Sure, Haribol.
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 Very good. Haribol, Haribol. I think you brought the core points across well. The potency of the author and the fidelity to the message. So these were the two core points, and you brought it forth very well in the discussion. Thank you for that.
Last but not the least, Narayana Group.
Amit Prabhu, can you share the screen? Hare Krishna, everyone. A warm welcome on behalf of the Narayana members of the Narayana Group. The topic of our skit is I don't believe in violence. Bhagavad Gita talks about fighting. The plot happens in a college campus. I, Balasubramaniam, am the narrator, and the characters are Arjun, played by David Prabhu, who is a confused student, Krish, played by Amit Prabhu, who is a wise mentor, and Molly, played by Anuradha Mataji, who is a friend who misunderstands the Gita. The greatest wars are not fought on land, they are fought within the human heart. A group of students discussing Bhagavad Gita after reading a controversial article published in Russia about ISKCON and Gita controversy.
I read that Gita tells people to fight even against their own people. Isn't that promoting violence?
I don't believe in violence either. Why does the Gita talk about war?
Arjun, you are asking the same question Arjuna asked long ago. In Dharmkshetra Kurukshetra, Arjuna asked, how can I not grieve? How can fighting ever be right?
In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 11, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead.
If spirituality is about peace, why does Krishna tell Arjuna to fight?
That's why people criticize it, even tried to ban it.
Okay, so tell me, Arjun, if someone attacks innocent people, should a protector stay silent?
No, of course not. They should stop it.
Then is stopping injustice violence or a responsibility?
Well, it depends on why you act.
Exactly. The Gita does not glorify fighting, it teaches duty.
In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 31, the Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna says, considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation.
That's why we said we should fighting without anger is a violence, and fighting for a justice is duty.
But harm is still involved.
Yes, that's Arjuna's struggle. He mixed emotions with duty. So now let's take a modern example. A doctor causes pain during a surgery. Similarly, a police officer may use force. Are they violent?
Well, no, of course not. They're doing their duty.
Yeah, that is their dharma, acting without selfless motive.
So the issue is not fighting, but intention.
Yes, you should act without anger, ego, or desire.
In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 47, Lord Shri Krishna says, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. He adds in the next verse, perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to the success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
Maybe people misunderstood the Gita. They saw battle, not the message.
Yes, they sharpen their sword to fight, but missed to sharpen their mind with the wisdom.
So Krishna didn't say go fight?
He said, but also understand your duty and act with clarity.
The real battlefield was within Arjuna.
The Gita isn't about violence.
It's about responsibility.
And inner balance.
Fight not out of anger, but act out of duty. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 7, Lord Shri Krishna says, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I dissent myself.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very good. Very good. So you transitioned from fighting to duty and duty to dharma. And that was done very nicely, because if you simply try to defend fighting as it is difficult to defend. But by gradually taking the person from fighting to duty, which is right and wrong, and from duty to the intrinsic quality of dharma, it becomes an argument that speaks for itself. So very nicely developed. Thank you very much. Okay, so this was the last group, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, and we have 10 minutes for the Q&A.
Okay, so any questions based on the lectures on the introduction, preface, etc., or any question that may have come up based on what you have heard so far? Yes, Subudhi Rai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhu, from introduction, I have one question where you mentioned that Jiva Goswami's reference of saying 94% of the Vedas are lost, only 6% are present. So I was putting myself into the shoes of Sri Vaishnavas who gave only Ved Praman, like they put Ved Praman as the highest pedestal as far as I know. So how do they look into this statement? Is it that for them even that 94% lost is also still there in the parampara in the form of message, or that's the question, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very good question. So the reason Jiva Goswami makes this point in Tattva Sandarbha is to direct our attention to the scriptures that remain. So when 94% of the Vedas are gone, the point that he makes is that the message of the Vedas is still preserved in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Right. So it's not that the message has been lost. So it's kind of like you have a 100-page chapter and then you use the last 2 pages to summarize it. So as long as you have the last 2 pages, perhaps the 100 pages are not that relevant. So he uses that to make 2 points. One is that we should focus on the last 2 pages as opposed to the fact that of the remaining chapter, there are so many pages that are lost. And the fact is that for us to understand the last 2 pages, we need somebody to guide us. So we need somebody like Srila Prabhupada to explain it to us and then study it in his guidance. And this is not just ISKCON, Gaudiya Sampradaya. Same philosophy is also followed by the Shri Sampradayas and other Sampradayas, that they focus on the essence that remains. Thank you. David Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Is it okay to ask a question for chapter 1?
Sure, yes.
I can wait next time too.
No, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. So in your lecture on verse 115, I think you mentioned that Arjuna allowed Krishna to take over his senses. But I thought that Krishna took over his senses because Arjuna was a pure devotee as opposed to giving up his senses. So I thought Krishna took over the senses so that, again, the Gita could be spoken. But then also in the 2.6 purport, Prabhupada says Arjuna is a great devotee and highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. So maybe it's technical, but I'm a little confused as to which way it went, or maybe it was both ways.
Thank you, Prabhu. Also, thank you for listening to the lectures and reading the purports so nicely. So yes, Prabhu, Arjuna is kind of playing 2 roles. In his original position, he is a perfected soul, an eternal associate of Krishna. And in that mood, he wants, that's the mood of a devotee, that they surrender their senses to Rishikesh, the owner of the senses. So how does Arjuna surrender his senses to Krishna? He allows Krishna to bewilder him. Right? And once he is bewildered, and it is for our benefit, it's not for Arjuna's benefit. He's already set for life, so to speak, right? So out of compassion for conditioned souls like us, Arjuna is allowing Krishna to bewilder him and presenting. So now in his bewildered stage, Arjuna has a different set of expectations from Krishna. Right? If you notice, at one point he calls Krishna Madhusudana, Arisudana, killer of the Madhu demon, killer of the enemy, right? And Prabhupada writes that Arjun is subtly indicating that don't ask me to fight. You kill them on my behalf. Right? I want to be saintly and pious, but you kill them on my behalf. So Prabhupada says that is the order supplier mentality, where the devotee turns to Krishna and says that you do this for me. So that is Arjuna in a state that he has accepted being bewildered. So you'll see also in purports, Prabhupada at some point will glorify Arjun, that Arjun is soft-hearted, is exalted, and some points he'll criticize Arjun, that Arjun has this skin disease, he is too much attached to the bodily conception. So he's also making this distinction, right? When he glorifies Arjun, it is in his liberated state, and when he criticizes Arjun, it's in the role that he's playing. Okay, thank you. Akhila Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my Panchang Pranams. Prabhu, I was just having a question in relation to Bhuti Prabhu's question about Vedas and knowledge that's been coming down, and that so much was lost. How does this, I was just thinking, how should I understand? So now we are in Kali Yuga. Then after this, then again the next Divya Yuga starts. How is the knowledge? So will the knowledge be continuously deteriorating, or next Divya Yuga, when Satya Yuga comes, then I don't know how to put the question, but the Vedas, like the knowledge will be a little more.
It will. Thank you for the question. It's so after Kali Yuga, in the Bhagavatam it is written, right? After Kali Yuga, Lord Kalki comes towards the end of Kali Yuga, and then he destroys most of it, and then he begins to re-establish. So one of the things that he re-established is the Vedas in its entirety, the principles of Varnashram, right? And then the Satyug starts again after that. Thank you. Anant Shesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, my Dandavat Pranam. I believe it was in the introduction lecture, I might be wrong, but you mentioned that the modes of material nature are inert, not conscious, which I agree with. How to reconcile the fact that they fight for supremacy if they are not conscious?
Thank you, Prabhu. Good question. So if you go by some basic principles, then it is relatively easy to understand it. So first is assume that the modes are inert. Take that as a fact. In this whole creation, there are only two things that are sentient. There is Krishna and there is Jiva. Only two things that are sentient, right? So Krishna does not interfere. So now it's the Jiva that is agitating the modes in a particular way. So based on how the Jiva approaches the modes will basically, or the Jiva will agitate the modes to control him. So I'll give you an example that you walk into a parking lot and you have a choice to take a car. So you may take a car that goes very fast, or you may take a car that goes very, very slow. Now, the car is inert, but once you sit on it, you have the ability to use the car in a certain way. Now, the person sitting in the slow car will say that that's all I can do. I can't go faster than 60 miles an hour, right? And the other person can say, I can't go faster than 100 miles per hour, right? But it's not really the decision of the car. You chose a particular car. So similarly, the choice of the mode is ours. Once we choose the mode, then we allow the modes to control us.
The question is in the last part, how does the mode control us after I have chosen? Because it seems like at least the wording say that the modes fight for supremacy. I have chosen, and I'm actually choosing a mix of all three modes. It's not that I'm choosing one mode over the other. And so at different times of the day, different modes are active. So is it actually me controlling the modes, the soul that is?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the answer, right? So when you say the modes fight for supremacy, the modes can't fight for supremacy. Your choice of the mode creates an effect of the fighting for supremacy. You get up in the morning during Brahma Muhurat, you choose the mode of goodness. At night, when you're exhausted, mentally, whatever, you choose the mode of ignorance. Now, somebody looking from outside will say, morning, the mode of goodness is predominant. Evening, the mode of passion is predominant. Night, the mode of ignorance is predominant. The modes are fighting amongst each other for dominance. But essentially what is happening is that you're picking a certain mode, or more likely you're picking a certain combination of modes that change based upon your propensity.
Thank you.
So we'll do more about it in the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the three modes. But the point that I make is that when you approach this the scriptures, some things you should anchor very firmly in your mind. That nobody but you and Krishna are sentient in this world. So whenever you read this, that the modes are fighting for supremacy, or the modes are controlling a person, they're talking about the effect, not the cause. Right? You are sitting in a fast car and moving, and somebody says that Anantashesha is moving very fast. The car is moving fast. You made a choice to sit in that car. It's essentially a result of your preference that is manifesting.
Yeah, I'll probably wait till the 14th chapter. There is still some confusion, but I agree that it is inert with just reconciliation. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, Vivek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Bhai, Hare Prabhuji. A quick question. What is the prescription you would give us while reading introduction? What are the to-dos and what are the misconceptions we should avoid, especially if you have, in your experience, top 2 or 3 misconceptions one gets by reading introduction of Bhagavad Gita written by Srila Prabhupada and the publishers. For us and specifically for myself to follow those not to-dos, if you can elaborate on that.
Thank you, Prabhu. So the 5 skits that were presented essentially surfaced the 5 dominant misconceptions that Srila Prabhupada addresses in his introduction. The importance of reading from a devotee linked to a parampara, not linked to a religion. So if you look at the introduction, now Prabhupada writes the introduction kind of like a lecture, right? You see that he jumps from one place to another logically, but he it's almost like he's speaking to us, right? So the reason that Prabhupada wrote the 30-page introduction is because he wanted to address these common misconceptions about the position of Krishna, about the position of Guru, the position of Dharma. One recommendation from me, Prabhu, which Prabhupada makes in the early part of the Bhagavad Gita introduction, is that we should read it with the assumption that Krishna is God. Right? We should not hold the Bhagavad Gita hostage to the divinity of Krishna. Right? So we should not read it thinking that maybe Krishna is God, maybe he's not. Let me read the Bhagavad Gita and figure that out. That will mitigate all the statements made in the Gita. If you do not accept Krishna as God, any statement that Krishna makes is as good as any statement that your neighbor makes or you make, right? What's the difference then? Right. So unless you accept Krishna as authoritative, the Bhagavad Gita will never enter your heart. Now, Prabhupada makes this point that this does not mean blind faith. Like all that it means is deferred faith. That you accept that Krishna is God. So like you go to a doctor, right? You may not have full understanding of all his certificates, his experience. But if he prescribes you some medicine and you take it according to the prescription and it cures your diseases, then you know that the doctor is bona fide. Then you go again to the doctor. So that's how one reads Krishna, Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is God. Krishna tells me that being detached will free me of misery. Let me try and be detached. And then you will experience that it will actually reduce your misery. Right. And then you go back.
So it's like a science subject. Start with this hypothesis. You may not know that it will end up, but start with this hypothesis that Krishna is God and is an authority, and then go on to keep reading.
Absolutely. That's how I actually, when I'm speaking to the younger children, then because they are doing this kind of studies. So many times when you're doing your mathematical hypothesis, you say, let us assume that x is equal to whatever, 0. And then based on that, you solve the problem. And then you say, that's why, so now I know x is 0. Same way, let us assume that Krishna is God. Read the Bhagavad Gita, apply the Bhagavad Gita, and validate it.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. I feel younger as well now.
Yeah, very good.
Prabhuji, we have 2 more questions, and I'm also looking at the clock for the chapter 1 overview. So you can decide, Prabhuji, to answer the questions now or later.
Okay. How much time do we have? Oh, we have only 8 minutes.
No,
Okay,
Prabhuji, 8 plus 15 minutes with the classes until 8:15.
Okay, so maybe we'll just take these 2 questions and then after that we'll start with the summation.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. And we can put this question in the parking lot. Really quick, practical application of Bhagavad Gita, which is 5,000 years ago to this day. We learned about the characters while I was going through the introduction. Learn about the characters that is setting the stage for the war. And then I understood that Draupadi had kids with all 5 Pandavas, 1 each, as well as the Pandavas had different wives, more wives as well, individually. So 5,000 years when we are in this rational, pseudo-liberal kind of environment, how to take this from the historical perspective that the stage is set with all these kids having multiple relationships. So just to have a convincing, in this case, I'm trying to convince my mind that don't think into all these details, but just wanted to understand how we can understand the historical perspective. Thank you, Prabhu. And we can put it in the parking lot. We can revisit. There is no like obsession for me to just know the answer now. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. I can give you a short answer, and if it doesn't satisfy you, we'll take it up later. So the answer is partially, I think you gave in the question, that 2 things: historical perspective. So that was a different time. Like even if you look maybe 100 years ago, we'll see different cultural practices. We'll see different ways that the society conducted itself. We're looking at 5,000 years ago, right? Different time over there. And the second point that you made was setting the scene. That Bhurishan Prabhu makes this point. The entire Mahabharata was enacted for the Bhagavad Gita to be spoken. That, in the field of Kurukshetra, some of the most powerful warriors in the universe were assembled, ready to fight. And everybody's attention, the demigods, the sages, everybody's attention was focused on this battlefield of Kurukshetra. And Krishna speaks the Gita at the time. Right, so he draws everybody's attention like a funnel and then reveals this gem of the Gita. So setting the scene, the second point that you right. Thank you. Amit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So as like Gita is set on a battlefield, and in that place of a conflict, that spiritual teaching happen. So how can we implement that teaching in our modern day problems? Because like we can say like it's not easy to apply those principles in our current problem, but like what can be how we can handle those in our modern life?
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, you have a valid point that Gita was spoken different time. The speaker was Krishna, the audience was Arjun, very, very exalted personalities. What hope do we have of applying it? Two-part answer. Gita is, and once you go through the Gita, you'll understand it has actually very little to do with the battlefield, very little to do with the battle also. Right? Only 9 times in the Gita, Krishna asks Arjun to fight. And otherwise, he speaks more than 500 verses in the Gita. Gita is about dharma. Right? And this I'll speak a little bit in the summation of the first chapter. Dharma is eternal. It is timeless. There, right? So it's as much applicable to us as it was 5 million years ago. If you're able to distill that, and by Prabhupada's mercy, we should be able to do that, that the question that we should not ask is that where is Duryodhan and where is Bhishma? The question we should ask is what is our dharma and how do we execute it? Gita becomes very relevant in our life.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Wonderful questions. So I'm going to start with the summation of the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So fortunately, this is a relatively straightforward chapter, so I should be able to do it in the time that we have left. I think in future will be more on me, more cognizant of the time. So the chapter 1 comes in obviously the first section of the Bhagavad Gita, which talks about karma. Right? Bhagavad Gita is 3 sections, and the first 6 chapters, the main topic is karma, and all these 6 chapters, the common thread is Krishna is teaching Arjuna about karma. So chapter 1 is also known as Arjun Vishad Yoga. So Vishad means lamentation, and interestingly, it sounds a little counterintuitive that Arjun is lamenting, and yoga is connecting with Krishna. And yoga means to connect. So what makes this chapter glorious is that Arjun uses his lamentation to connect with Krishna. That's why the acharyas have also named this chapter as Arjun Vishad Yoga. And many times people out of lamentation, they turn their back to God. If they are in a bad situation, they say, what's the point? There's no God, and become atheist or agnostic. Arjuna, on the other hand, he turns towards Krishna. Right? And that's why it's yoga over here. And the main point that is made over here is the 5 doubts of Arjuna, and there are some sub-points that are also made. So broadly speaking, it is divided into 2 sections. The first 27 verses are setting the scene, and from verse 28 to 46 are so actually the first chapter has the 4 doubts of Arjuna, and the 5th doubt appears in the second chapter. So in setting the scene, the first 12 verses are the preparation of the war. The first verse, Prabhupada says, Dam Kshetra Kurukshetra Samveta Yutsava Mamaka Pandavas Chaiva Kim Kuvata Sanjaya, spoken by Dhritarashtra. The only verse that is spoken by Dhritarashtra, which Prabhupada says is a summary of the Mahabharata. Right? The fact that the Bhagavad Gita starts with the word dharma, right? And the conversation ends with the word dharma. In the 18th chapter, verse 70, which is the last instruction given by Krishna to Arjun. He said, Dharma Samvad. Have you heard this conversation about Dharma? And Prabhupada says that this indicates that Bhagavad Gita is a book about Dharma. So here we also see 9 verses spoken by Duryodhana. And we see the political astuteness of Duryodhana. And interestingly, if you read Mahabharata also, you'll see that Duryodhana was a very powerful character, a great warrior, and highly respected. Even though there is a caricature of him that is built, that he was out and out evil, to some extent he was. But he was also a great personality. He was a favorite of Lord Balram. Lord Balram actually favored Duryodhana over Bhima, an excellent administrator. In the Rajasuya Yag, Duryodhana was given the duty of organizing the whole yaga by Yudhishthir, a great warrior, comparable to Bhima. And at one point, Balram was asked who is better, and Balram actually says that Duryodhana is better than Bhima in fighting the Gada. His only defect was that he did not have faith in Krishna. And that's the point that is made, that one may have all good qualities, but the person does not have faith in Krishna. Prabhupada would say that one may have hundreds of zeros, but unless there is a 1 in front of it, which is Krishna, they're all zeros. In the next 8 verses, 13 to 20, there is the signs of victory of the Pandavas, subtle signs that come in, like the blowing of the conch, the effect of the blowing of the conch, and the presence of Hanuman on the flag of Arjun's chariot. So the acharyas say, Prabhupada says that these are all signs of the imminent victory of the Pandavas. And in the last 8 verses, we see Krishna appearing. Krishna does not speak in the first chapter, but Krishna appears as the chariot driver of Arjun. So first time he appears, Arjun says that, take my chariot and in the middle of the armies, right? And he's like treating Krishna Krishna is a chariot driver, so he's treating Krishna as a servant. And Srila Vyasadeva calls Krishna as Achyuta over here. That Krishna is infallible when it comes to taking care of his devotees. The second section talks about the 5 reasons that Arjun gives not to fight. The first reason that he gives is compassion. So when Arjun looks over the army, he knows for a fact that almost everybody will be killed. And he looks at the Pandavas' army, and they're standing against him, and he knows he has to kill them to win. But he also sees the great warriors on the Kaurava side, and knows that they will also wipe out his own army. And Arjun was a accomplished warrior, right? He was right that at the end of the Mahabharata, 7 or 8 people survived out of the millions that were assembled over there. So compassion at this kind of genocide, killing of millions and millions of some of the most powerful people. These were kings and warriors and people like Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Bhishma. So strong sense of compassion in Arjun. And Srila Prabhupada at this point, he says that, which means that Arjun is ready to receive the Bhagavad Gita. And so this is one of the things that I think David Prabhu was talking about, that at one point Prabhupada criticizes Arjun, that unnecessarily his compassion is towards the body. And another point where Prabhupada glorifies Arjun, that he has a soft heart, a devotee has a soft heart, so he is ready to receive. And Prabhupada makes this point over and over, that if one hardens one's heart by a lot of pseudo-intellectualism. And we generally see people, not generally, sometimes we'll see people that they will cover the study of the scriptures with so many pseudo-intellectual kind of questions that why was Arjun sitting in a chariot? Why wasn't he walking? Why was Krishna sitting over here? Why was it in Kurukshetra? Why was it not somewhere else? So without touching the essence, they create a barrier for themselves. And that's why Prabhupada glorifies the soft heart of Arjun, that now it is open to receive the message of Bhagavad Gita. The second reason is enjoyment. So Arjun makes this point that assuming that I win, my winning means that I will kill everybody that is dear and near to me. Those on the other side, I will kill to win. Those on my side, I will sacrifice to win. So it's like going to an island with $1 million, but you're all alone over there. What you going to do over there? So Arjun says that who am I going to enjoy this kingdom if everybody that matters to me is dead? The third point that Arjun makes is the fear of sinful reactions. And here he's talking specifically about killing brahmanas. Right? There were brahmanas like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, killing gurus. Gurus like, again, Dronacharya, Guru Ashwatthama, Guru Putra. Then killing his elders, people who were situated to him in relationship of father, grandfather, Bhishma Deva. So based on Dharmashastra, it is a sin even to offend such people verbally. And Arjun says that I would have to kill them. Can you imagine the amount of sins that will accrue to me? The fourth reason that he gives is the destruction of family tradition, Varna Sankara. And here he establishes a cause and effect chain that when I kill the elders, or when the elders are killed, then there is nobody left to ensure that the Vedic processes are followed. And because of that, or lack of that, the women will be polluted. Because of that, there will be unwanted progeny. Because of that, Varna will be destroyed. When Varna is destroyed, ashram is destroyed. So Varna and ashram will both be destroyed. So Arjun says that past, present, and future will be destroyed. How will the past be destroyed? Because there will be no offering of oblations to the ancestors. How is the present going to be destroyed? Because the people will be coming up without good Vedic knowledge. And the future is destroyed is because they will perpetuate whatever they have learned or do not know. So that ignorance will perpetuate. And Arjun says that I will be responsible for it. The fifth reason does not appear in the first chapter, but it's good to see because as part of Arjun region is indecisiveness, which Prabhupada says is the root of the other reasons. Because if Arjun was convinced about the 4 reasons that he gave, he should have gotten off the chariot and walked away. But the fact that he's still sitting there looking towards Krishna means that despite all the arguments that he has made, he is still not sure. So that is the 5th reason. So this brings us to the end of the first chapter. And for next week, please listen to the lectures on the first chapter, and I look forward to another exciting set of your group exercises next week. Thank you. Over to Rup Raghunath Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah, Madhu Mataji, you had a question?
No, I didn't get that. Read the first chapter or second chapter?
the pre-recorded classes on the first chapter. Your mentor will let you know, Mataji.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will end over here. Thank you so much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thai Gaur Premanand. Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Panchang
Thank you,
Pranams.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.